This spring, I finally took the opportunity to go on my very first turkey hunt. And I have to say, it was an incredible experience. And I cannot wait for you to see the story. Since I'm so crazy about deer hunting, turkey hunting just never really made it onto my priority list of things to do. Now, it was something that I thought eventually I'd like to give it a try, but recently my wife and I have been talking about turkey hunting and we decided, man, we should just give it a shot this spring. So we applied last fall and we got drawn for 2019 turkey tag in our area. Something I didn't realize until just recently is that the turkey population in Wisconsin as a whole was pretty much non-existent about 100 years ago. Now, there was some efforts that were made in 1976 to reintroduce the population of turkeys into the state of Wisconsin, and that was very successful, and that has led to what we have now to this day. The turkey population in northern Wisconsin has taken a little bit longer to get started. Back in 2004, they reintroduced turkeys into our area and it really took off well. Now, we don't have a crazy high population of turkeys, but it's enough that they were able to start a hunting season. The fact that I and my wife are hunting for turkeys in northern Wisconsin is pretty remarkable. That's something that we as conservationists should be proud of. Now, since Nicole and I have never done any turkey hunting before, I was talking to a guy in my church, Daryl Anderson, a good friend of ours, and he was able to get out in the woods with us and show us how it's done. Now, Daryl is a very experienced hunter, and he's had a lot of success turkey hunting over the years. So he was able to kind of show me a lot of what needs to happen and what to look for and how to set up and what the turkeys are doing. He was coaching me constantly throughout this entire hunt. And so that was something that was really helpful for me to have a mentor out in the woods. Now, Daryl was in contact with John Meyer from the Duluth News Tribune, and John was wanting to do an article on a turkey hunt from this spring. And so they worked it out that John was going to be in the blind with us that opening day. So we're going to pick up the story right on opening morning in the blind.
Subtle stuff if they're on the edge, but you don't need to talk too much. Once they see you, they're probably going to come in, so you don't. A lot of people overcall. If you get a gobble and you get him to respond to you, he knows where you're at. You don't have to keep calling at him.
But it's fun.
Yeah, that's part of the dog, but you just got to fight that urge.
My fatal flaw is I call way too much. Then you end up with a lot of hens in and they walk away.
If you get hens that are squawking at you, or if you hear a hen calling out there, hammer it back. Get her fired up. If you can pick a fight with a hen, it gets really loud, and the toms go nuts for that. I know how many times I've shot hens, or shot toms,
So the morning started out pretty slow. There really wasn't any responses to our calls. So it's getting about 7:15, 7:30, and all of a sudden we had an unexpected visitor that stepped out into the field.
That's where birds are. That's where we're gonna see a deer today. This is cool. Yeah, let's see what he does. He's seen a wolf in the wild before. Yeah. I know what they're right now. He's gonna come right to us. Oh, this is so cool. Yes.
Wow, that was cool. That's not something you see every day, having a wolf come running through and responding to your calling. That was a very memorable moment of this hunt. So at about 8 o'clock, Daryl had to get heading out to get up to work. So John, who is an experienced turkey hunter, stepped into the driver's seat and started doing some of the calling for me. It wasn't long after that when our very first turkey showed up into the field. That hen kind of worked her way around in the field a little bit, feeding, and just came in and out a couple different times. And eventually at about 9 o'clock, we had to get going. And so I got out of the blind and I was going to go pick up the decoys. And John tells me that he sees two strutters.
Probably hens in that yard. Yeah, they're right in the yard right now. I can see the one. Yeah, it's right in her yard still.
Now, unfortunately, these turkeys were in the neighbor's yard, and we didn't have access to hunt on that property, so we couldn't make a move on them. We tried calling. John was working hard to get them to come in, but they were pretty preoccupied with the ladies. There was two strutters and two hens, and they just didn't want to come over to where we were. But I kept the camera rolling just to see what would happen. And as I'm there filming these turkeys, John's sitting in the blind doing some calling. John all of a sudden tells me, "Hey, there's a coyote." Now that coyote came into our calls, but eventually he figured out that it wasn't real and he took off. But man, what a crazy first hunt to see two strutters, three hens, a coyote, a deer, and a wolf. You don't see that sitting on the couch. So that next morning I headed into the blind for a second hunt.
So everything's been pretty quiet so far. I've tried calling a couple times, but from everything that I've read and what I've been told, on rainy days, it sounds like turkeys don't usually call as much, and they also don't get off the roost as early. So I was reading some stuff online and people were saying that on rainy days, usually they're not getting off the roost till like 7:30 or later. And, you know, on good sunny days, they say that it would happen, you know, right at opening light. So, which, when I was thinking about yesterday, we did not, and it was a rainy day, we did not have any sort of turkey movement until after 8 o'clock. And nothing was responding to any sort of calling. So, maybe there is something to that, I don't know. Today in the blind, just glad to be out here.
So that second day was pretty uneventful. Nothing really happened, but the next day, Daryl was going to be able to get back out in the blind with me. So we headed in that morning, and it was incredible. We're getting the decoys set up, and we hear a gobble, and the thing was close.
Oh, there it was. Yeah, that's cool. He's right there. I guess he's maybe 50, 60 yards into the woods. Below the hill. Yeah, below the hill, yeah. Got him. Yeah, got him. We got him. What you normally don't want to do is respond right when he gobbles. Because then he's calling you your jet. Yeah, okay, I'm coming. Yeah. Especially later in the season. Let him gobble. Yeah. Let him gobble again. Wait another minute or two. A little bit of call back. And he answers you. Okay, now you've flipped it. He's coming to you. Yeah. Otherwise he's gonna wait. Sometimes he'll wait for you to come in. Trying to hear if there's any hens with him. Doesn't sound like it so far. Love it. Yeah, that's awesome. If we can get him fired up on the roast, then it'll be that much easier. Yeah. It's going crazy. Maybe he'll come back. Yeah. He'll call again and I'll wait. I'm not even talking to him. I'm talking to another hen that's with us here. At this point, a lot of guys will just start calling like crazy. It's just exactly the opposite. Yeah. I want to entice them a little bit. He knows where we're at. We just gotta shut him. Yeah. And then when he sees the decoys, then he'll be game on. I think game is on right now. Well, yeah. I think we'll see him within 5 minutes.
Now that Tom, he was just going crazy. Every minute or less, he was gobbling. So I was thinking, gosh, this is going to happen pretty quick here. I think he's going to come right on in. But we had about an 8 to 10 minute stretch where there was no responses, no calls, no nothing. But we did hear some flapping of wings up in a tree on the edge of the field. And that was not coming from the direction where our gobbler was at. So we knew that there was some other turkeys around at this point, but we were a little bit unsure of what it was.
Why do you think he would go quiet like that? He might be strutting. Okay. Might also be breeding that in. Yeah. Yeah, he just gobbled. It sounded a little bit further away. He might have had a hen take him down there. side of the river.
Yeah. That's a second.
Shut up. There's a bird now.
Oh, there he is, right?
It's a hen. There's another hen. They were running. That's a chick. That might be a tom. That's a tom. The tail feathers are flat. Yeah, there's not a bump in the middle.
Yeah.
Not a big one, but they were still roosted right next to him. It's really not your fault, thank you. Might want to shoot at that range anyway. He's gonna come up to the trailer, I think. That's a little want to turn it back to you. Get through that. Wait. Let that go. Go ahead.
Drilled him.
See, now these loads, they don't even flop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's a 2-year-old, about the same as my girl.
Holy crap. That's awesome.
Where'd you to it? Now I can clear my throat. I've had that feather in my throat for.
Oh,
Isn't that cool the way they did? Did you have him on the Jake?
I
Stomping the
did.
Jake?
I did get him on that.
Well, let's go do some business here.
Holy crap.
Oh, I heard a gobble over there, too.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah. Holy smokes. That is awesome. My first turkey. You heard another one over there. Oh, they're out in the... Is that deer out there?
Gobble.
I see 2 deer out in the field there. You hear the one across the river over there?
Didn't hear that one, but there's another one right up here. Hear it?
Yeah, that one's over the river.
Oh, okay, I thought it was back down here. I think the hen calls finally called that hen down, and he just followed her right.
Yep.
I saw that come in. I thought, what's a raptor coming over? Didn't realize it was a turkey gliding in.
Yep.
And said, oh, that's a hen. And then right behind her was the tom. Good job.
Look at that.
I'm guessing it's 2-year-old. Oh,
He's got some spurs.
yeah,
Not big.
He's a 2-year-old.
Yep. Got my very first turkey here today. Kind of a special memory to have here. We've been trying the last 2 days to get in here and get after one, and just couldn't seem to get in close on anything. The first day we saw 2 toms just about a couple hundred yards over south of us. But yesterday went back in here and didn't hear nothing. It was a really slow day. So we knew the conditions were going to be best for this day. We headed back in, and Daryl didn't even have to do any calling, and we already had a gobble. So we just started playing with him a little bit. And sure enough, he made his way in here and got him flying into the food plot. But he was with that hen. We could hear him flapping around when they were in the woods. He came in and went right after this decoy, jumped right on top of it, and was beating it up a little bit. So it was pretty cool. First ever turkey hunt for me this season, and first ever turkey that I have put on the ground. That was such an exciting hunt, an incredible first experience with turkey hunting. And to get that turkey off of the roost made it all the better. And this hunt is always going to be one that's very memorable to me. And yeah, I mean, I was successful, but what I'm going to remember most about this hunt was that it sparked a passion within me for turkey hunting. I'm also pretty thankful for Daryl, who would take time out of his schedule to show me how to turkey hunt. His mentorship really helped me get going on this. And it makes me think, for you guys out there that have experienced turkey hunting, maybe you should get out and teach somebody else how to do some turkey hunting. Who knows? You might just introduce them into something that will become a lifelong passion. So let's go do it. Let's get some people fired up about hunting.
This is Nicole's impersonation of a turkey.
I'm just kidding. Put that camera down.